How do you sell beer in India? What are the rules for each state? How much is the government take in the price of a beer? Um, what are the rules which determine through which channels you can sell, how you can sell, etc., etc.? Just help me understand that. Like, how do you sell alcohol in India?
So see, each state is a completely new ball game, right? Like today, the entire model of distribution, retail, sale, taxation, everything changes any state you go to, right? So I can start out with Goa as an example, right? So today, if I look at the Goa market, it's private distribution and private retail, right? Which makes it sort of one of the easiest states to sort of operate in with the lowest tax structures as well. So in Goa, the tax, for example, excise tax on beer is approximately 50 rupees a liter. So per bottle, you're looking at about 16 rupees of taxes of excise duty, and then topped away the 22% VAT, right? So quite a small tax compared. So like I told you, how today distribution as well as retail is private in Goa. So if we were to sell beer, once we have manufactured our beer, we say we onboard a private distributor who agrees to buy our product. So we first pay excise duty to the state. We get something called as a permit made, which then allows us to dispatch our product from our warehouse to the distributor's warehouse. So now what lies there is excise paid product. And then the distributor then supplies it to private retailers who, of course, we have to convince them to purchase the stock in the form of a sale, right? We go and take orders from them, and the distributor sort of supplies the product to them, and then they sell it to the end consumer, and that's the channel to sale and to market. Now, when I take an exact opposite market into picture, which is like, say, for example, the Kerala market, right? That
One
is the
question
exact.
on Goa first.
Yeah, yeah.
So private distribution means anybody can sell, or this is also like you have to get a license from the government that you can sell alcohol?
So you have to get a license, right? Today, private just means that any individual can go apply for a license. Of course, if you fulfill all the criteria, but you have to get the licenses to be able to wholesale alcohol in the state, right? And that's a different set of licenses. Same with retail,
Got it.
right? Today, you have to
Okay,
get the
got it.
license to be able to sell alcohol, but anybody
Hmm.
can go and apply for it,
Okay,
right?
understood. Okay,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Now let's come to
and
Karnataka.
no, no, now, and the reason I'm going to Kerala because it's the exact opposite. So I think it's a good comparison where in the Kerala market there's no private distribution or sale. Right today, the entire distribution channels as well as the retail channels are completely state owned. Right, so there's a department known as the KSBC, which is the Karnataka State Beverage Corporation, which essentially distributes your product, which means you initially first bill the product to the state. They procure the products in their warehouses across the state. And then as the retail, there's about 280 retail shops across the state of Kerala. As you convince them to buy the product, they place orders with the warehouse of the government. They get the product into the stores, and only once the product sells to the customer from the store does the government pay us for it, right? So everything is state controlled, and they don't take responsibility for anything, right? Today, they first we have to, if you want to enter the state, we need to first put in a tender, right? Which means that today we have offered them these products at a certain price point, and they have to accept it, right? They'll do some variations in the pricing and negotiations, and then they will set a price. Once that price is set and approved, then you go to the excise department and get your labels and your brand registered. Once that is done, now you can tell the KSBC to purchase an X amount of stock from you, right? Once they purchase the stock goes there. Then you go to the stores and tell them to buy it from the warehouses, and once that sells, then you get paid. So it's a full state control thing, but at the end of the day, you decide what you want to do, right? Today, I can decide I only want to sell 100 cases. I can decide I want to sell 1,000, but at the end of the day, you get paid once you're able to, at the end, fulfill it to the customer.
Okay. Uh, in Kerala, the retail is also government owned, or
Yes,
are those okay? So
it's
the
all.
point of sale where people are buying is like that. I grew up in Delhi, and I remember Delhi used to have these government-run thekas, uh,
Yep,
where you had to queue up to buy, and there was a. It
it's still the
almost was
same,
like
by
a
the way.
jail where you had those rods
Yeah.
in front, and so Kerala is
So,
like that still.
yeah, so even Delhi is back to the same. If I don't know if
Oh,
you're aware.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So
okay,
so,
okay.
so yeah, so Delhi in between had permitted sale through private stores, which happened about 2 3 years ago. But then they reverted back on the old policy. So now the state of Delhi, you can only sell alcohol through the government shops packages.